The rise of AI was certainly evident. OpenAI's ChatGPT released its latest model, complete with the ability to have audio chats. Google and Microsoft also introduced their own AI integrated products. Chip-making companies turned those advancements into big profits. As he was talking about, NVIDIA now valued at almost $3.3 trillion. But it was the year of regulations as well. The European Union's AI Act came into effect in August, considered the world's first comprehensive regulation of the technology. And in the U.S., a blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights was put into place by the Biden administration. To dive into all that's happened in AI this year, I'm joined now by Emil Protalinski. He's an editor at Techmeme and Consultant at EPro Strategies. Thank you so much for coming on to join us on this last day of 2024. Happy New Year to you. Talk to us about some of the biggest AI stories and developments of this last year.
Thank you, Mike, and Happy New Year to you, too. So I'd say that in 2024, there wasn't quite a single big story like there was last year, right? So 2023 was definitely dominated by ChatGPT, even though, of course, it came out in November 2022. 2023 was all about ChatGPT. 2024, I feel like the AI race broadened, right? To include not just OpenAI and Microsoft, but also Google and Amazon and Anthropic and Meta and a handful of other companies, as well as all the chip makers. So we've got ChatGPT, we have Claude, we have Llama, we have so many other tools now. And that was kind of really the big story, that it's no longer this one company that's leading the charge, but rather all the big companies, as well as a bunch of startups, are trying to get in the mix and fight for a piece of the pie.
And as you look at all of that, that's kind of setting the stage for 2025. What do you expect to happen in 2025? I know that chatbots have become more prevalent. Are we going to see more of that? I mean, what are the expectations for this new year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make any specific predictions because things are definitely going to be wild and tumultuous. With regards to chatbots, I mean, Silicon Valley and tech circles in general are talking a lot about AI agents, right? The promise there is that AI agents will perform tasks for you. So instead of just talking to a chatbot, you'll be able to say something like, hey, go book me a flight or schedule my meetings. It's not clear where that will be and how much hand-holding these AI agents will actually require. So I think that in 2025, despite all the talk around AI agents, the talk will definitely continue, I think people will still interact with chatbots a lot. I think that'll still be the primary way that people talk to AI models and use them for whatever they're trying to do.
And you mentioned everyone wants to get in on the act, everybody jumping into this. Got a lot of companies jumping in, investing more in this sector. Is it paying off? And what's going to happen when the dust settles, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'll say the short answer is no, it definitely hasn't paid off. Unless, of course, you're talking about their stock prices, all right? 2024 was a great big bull run again, just like 2023. And in terms of stock returns for all the tech companies that are investing in AI, that's what Wall Street wants to see, right? The bigger the investment, the more excited Wall Street gets. But in terms of actual, return on investment, tech companies are spending, in the tens or even hundreds of billions of dollars, while their returns are in the millions of dollars. So we're not quite seeing the results yet. Whether we will or won't remains to be seen. And even, we likely will see some results, but those results and that return won't be spread evenly. So there will be about a lot of busts, I expect. Whether that'll be specifically in 2025, I'm not gonna say explicitly for a specific company or a specific sector.
You were talking about spread evenly. One of the things we've heard a lot in the last year or so is this AI divide. People talking about income inequality, but now looking at AI, some countries are going to leap ahead, others are going to be left in the dust. I mean, can you talk to us about that, and how do you make it a more level playing field?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not easy to make a level playing field like any sort of tech investment. The richer economies or the ones that are in any case investing more in AI are going to benefit more, as well as there are going to be flops. I think there's going to be a lot of talk around labor, right? So companies and countries, rather, I should say, that experience a recession, for example, in 2025. AI will inevitably be blamed for a lot of layoffs. And some of that will be, accurate and there will be proof in that pudding, but a lot of it will also be overblown. So I honestly, if I had to give you advice or the audience some advice, if you want to increase your chances of staying employed, you should be learning to use AI tools, whether you think you need to or not.
Yeah, good advice there. You were talking about overblown. I mean, we've seen so many of these stories, and in our story just now, talking about the pluses, also the dark side of AI. Do you think that's overblown? I mean, should people be concerned about it?
I mean, I think people should be concerned. I think we do need to pass laws and regulations, specifically around areas that, there is room for concern. I think, just like any other tool, AI can be used for good and it can be used for bad. And we should be regulating and passing laws to make sure that specific cases where AI is being used for nefarious purposes, there are consequences for that. On the other hand, we shouldn't be regulating AI broadly because that will inevitably cause kind of a dampening on R&D. So we don't want to do that, but we do want to, if there are companies or there are malicious groups using, for example, deepfakes for fraud or for, deepfake porn, we need specific regulations to address that. But broadly speaking, AI, more investment is going into AI regardless, and we just need to make sure that we're addressing everything to make sure that the growth continues and the innovation continues without impacting the populace, I should say, in a negative light.
Yeah, it's here to stay. There's no doubt about it. Weighing all of these things also going to be difficult moving forward. Thank you so much for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mike. You too.